Hi, this is Romuald. I'm the creator of n8n MCP, an MCP server used by over 110,000 people worldwide. Today, we are going to look into the AI assistant just announced and implemented in preview in the newest n8n. I'm going to show you how to set it up on a self-hosted instance, and then we'll give it a spin to see what it's worth. In the end, I will give you my assessment of AI Assistant and whether I will use it going forward. Okay, let's start. So let's start from the docs of n8n. Set up AI Assistant. This is in preview, and here we have an instruction how to do that. I've never done it before, it just came out, so we'll do it together with the help, a little help of Claude Code to set it up. So when you go to your n8n instance and you check your version in about n8n, you should see you are above 2.29.9. If that's not the case, you need to upgrade your instance if you are self-hosting. And we are self-hosting here, so we will do the setup for self-hosting. I will just feed this documentation to a Claude Code, and I paste the link to the documentation and let it work for a while. So we can see Claude Code already loaded n8n MCP skills, and if you don't have that, I will put the link in the description. It also contains how to work with self-hosted instances, and it's very helpful for setting up these kind of things. So Claude here is asking me a few questions. So which target instance I want this to be installed at, what LLM provider, and n8n is saying it works with Azure, OpenAI, and OpenRouter, but I have some Azure credits and deployed GPT 5.6 Sol there, so I'd like to try if I can actually use those credits and if it will work. Claude is back with a plan. Let's go to Daytona. I set up the account here, choose my region. I set it to expire tomorrow. Full access, create, and hand it into my Claude. And also let's set up the Brave search in the same block. I already have an account, so I'll just log in. After logging in, I go to API keys and add an API key. Of course, copy that and enter. Right. Claude Code reports that it's done implementing the change. So let's check. Okay, we have here AI Assistant and plus new AI chatter. Let's check if it responds. It's hi. It didn't work. So let me just screenshot or give it to Claude. Okay, after working for some 10 minutes, Claude says that it fixed it. So let's check it now. Hi. We have an answer. Hi, what would you like to automate or manage in n8n? We have GPT 5.6 Sol, the newest and greatest model from OpenAI. So I think that's the best it can get with AI Assistant. So I have very, very big hopes and expectations for this. Let's start with something simple. Email classifier here. What we can do here, we can attach files. We can dictate and let it run. We got here some kind of error, didn't really work. So we are using OpenAI, not Azure. And let's see, no, it doesn't work. So according to my debugging, this is a problem with reasoning models on self-hosted instances, and that n8n is not properly managing the reasoning part. I will file an official issue to n8n repo so the team can handle that, and I'm sure they will in no time. And in the meantime, we will move to a non-reasoning model. So I decided to go with GPT 5.4, which works beautifully. And I really want to give this AI assistant a chance. So I will use the best model available to me right now. workflow that checks recent unread messages and classifies them important, unimportant. I perceive this as an easy job, something that Claude Code with n8n MCP would build pretty fast in just a few turns. I can see that there are many skills and tools being fired right now, and it's quite fast. I think it's thanks to the inference speed on Azure. It looks promising, and we have a beautiful preview here on the right. It can take up to half of the screen, and I see here this workflow. Okay, apply. Let's see if it can make quite a simple edit. So swap the OpenAI model for something else. And note the documentation here, which is really nice. Is it important? Okay, test it. It's running and something didn't work there, which is nice. We'll see how it debugs in the workflow. Found that the max tokens parameter is not supported for this kind of models, and it switched it, which is good. Found that those are unimportant messages. Let's give it a look. That's strange. What's going on here? The model never got the actual email data, so it didn't really classify those. Now it's done, and it tested and said, okay, I identified the problem. Let's see again. Now you can see it is actually working. Okay, so it took us some time, but we made it working. And I think now I'm going to throw at the AI assistant something real. So I will generate a description of a pretty complex system in production at one of my clients and see if the AI assistant can recreate that. Just to give you a little overview of what we are expecting here, we have a gateway which is receiving via webhook customer emails and customer tickets, basically, that are stored in Thulium. So Thulium is like gathering tickets from all the channels that my client is serving, and then the workflow is classifying the ticket, and then basically after logging in the classification event, it's routing by intent to sub workflows, and those sub workflows are responsible for basically doing some analysis and proposing the answer. And as you can see here, we have 2 routes already built, and the other routes are under construction. This is still being developed. The gateway itself is a pretty complex workflow. So let's generate the description of this workflow and see if AI Assistant can recreate that workflow. And let's also maybe generate one description of the sub workflows just to see if it can handle multiple workflows. So like a master workflow and a sub workflow. Okay, I opened a new chat, and now I have a pretty detailed prompt to follow. So there is a context, what we are building. There is a description of the gateway that receives the ticket and classifies it with intent taxonomy and what is the business logic of the system, and one execution sub workflow that basically informs the customer about order status. Okay, so the prompt, the constraints, and let's see how it works. What I want to have is 2 workflows, one master workflow and one sub workflow. And let's see how it goes. It's been running for some time, and now it asks me to create a data table, which is great actually. Since you made it that far, you may as well hit the subscribe and like button if you are doing anything in n8n professionally or as a side job. If you are getting value out of those videos, I think it's worth it. Okay, back to our build. The AI assistant worked for some time. It built 2 workflows, and they are saved but not activate ready. Why is that? There is some trouble with credentials, but it proposed a way forward to fix that. Now it's been hanging here for some time. I think something is broken. So I'll just break it and say, please continue. So it made an attempt to fix the workflow that it claims is broken. And it cannot say honestly that the gateway is fully fixed end to end, and it suggests to rebuild it. But maybe before that, let's see what was actually built. There is a webhook and it's properly configured. Then we are filtering for only those tickets that matter. We didn't give it information where we are fetching the details from. Allowed queue, sender allowed, not already handled. Then if everything is true, it goes to the classifier, and on the false branch is logs. And what's this one doing here? So there is a route that is just taking the tickets straight to action instead of classifying. So that's not something we would like to see here. But then we have this nice router with one workflow that should be already built. This is what I asked for, and then stubs for all the other routes. And here we have a little readme that explains in general what the workflow does. Okay, so this is the gateway. It has flaws. Okay, it's not perfect, but as a one shot, I'm really impressed that it built something that I expected basically. And then we have the worker one. I asked so that it's like, checking again if this is the right ticket to be here. And if not, if it fails on any of the algorithmic checks, it adds a comment to the ticket itself. And if not, it's generating a reply, sending the help desk reply, and closing the ticket. Okay, so the generation really works, but I think this is solved within n8n. Really good job. Now let's see another use case here. I have a workflow here that I built for myself to connect to AI agent that is helping me with my workouts. So this is getting Strava details from my Strava account. Unfortunately, Strava moved recently from giving that for free to charging for it, so it doesn't work anymore. I'm wondering if the AI assistant will be able to figure that out. And yes, 203 forbidden. So okay, it's not able to infer from the 403 forbidden the information, but it found it. So I'm asking a research question here. I know Strava is not the best, storage of my training activity anymore. So I'm asking if there is anything it can recommend so that I swap Strava for another app. And we have our Brave API hooked up, so that should work. So it presented me with some options which I haven't heard about before. Intervals, runalize, training peaks. So let's allow it to make a deeper research. Design the exact workflow architecture. Let's do that. The plan is really long, which is good. I'm not going to build that, but it proves that it can do at least some research and planning, which is very good. So what is my take on the AI assistant, and will I use it myself? The answer is no, I will not use it for now, but that may be for reasons that you don't expect. Well, first, this is just temporary, I'm sure. Not being able to use the reasoning models, I'm sure this is just a technical issue, and I actually confirmed that, and I'm sure n8n will fix that in the very next version. But what is more important here is that connecting on my self instance to AI assistant means providing API token, which means additional costs for me. When I use Claude Code or Codex, I already pay the subscription, so this would be something I pay on top. If I hadn't used that, then sure, it makes total sense to either use the cloud version where you have credits already included, or to just pay the API costs. However, the API costs probably will be higher than the subscription. Another reason is in my workflow, I already have self-accumulating memory. So whenever I build a workflow for a client or for myself, the knowledge is accumulating. My Claude Code already knows how to handle certain class of problems within n8n. And if we tackle something new, this is accumulating and the next build is easier. I don't see that functionality in AI Assistant from within n8n right now. And of course, it can be added. And I'm sure n8n will consider adding some long-term memory to that. Another reason is I don't only use the pure model and the harness what n8n built. I also use external skills for some parts, okay? I may use front-end design skill to just build a small status page that is shown in n8n in a form node. I don't see right now a possibility to load custom skills here. Next one is here it is only for one instance, not multiple instances. And when I have multiple clients, I often hop between them. And with n8n MCP and Claude Code, I can do that. I cannot and will not be able to do that within one instance of n8n. This is architectural, not something that n8n can do something about, I think. Also, the coding agent can save files on the drive, on your computer drive, and modify them. For one of the client projects, I built the entire mobile application backend with 20-something endpoints, and we were testing user paths. So first signing up, then logging in, then doing some actions in the app. And it would be impossible to test these routes just by testing it within n8n. So for me, it's really important to be able to write code next to n8n so that we can test it. But on the flip side, I think it is an amazing product, and it will be only better from now on for somebody who is building for themselves or for small companies as well. One of the great features of this AI assistant is the ability to peek at the workflows, to see them being built in the native canvas. That is something that cannot be done outside of n8n, and for sure cannot be done via Codex or Claude Code. This is the advantage of the AI assistant that is closely integrated with n8n. So I would highly recommend you test it out as well.